Okay, just a relatively short video about the decision-making process. Kind of go through it, and the 6 strategies I'm going to talk about. This link, by the way, I couldn't get it to work, so I wouldn't worry about that. I guess you guys maybe don't have the PowerPoints, although I can sure post these. It wouldn't be any problem to do that. If you have a desire to see them posted, let me know and I'll do that. So this kind of gives you maybe a good way to look at doing your decisioning and maybe doing it in these orders. Okay. I would caution you that sometimes decisions that you make down here can affect your revision date. Okay, and you don't, this is a warning up front, you never want to get your revision date out past the next year. It can go well into December of the next year and you'll be okay, but if you get it out too far into the following year, then that'll cause you some grief. Okay, so keep that in mind as you make these decisions, and keep in mind that even after the R&D decision, some of these other decisions can affect that age. Okay, automation, I think, for example. So make your R&D, right? You change what? The size, you can change the performance, and you can change the MTBF. These are what move your product, hopefully in the direction of the customer demand, right? It also changes the age of the products, right? And it changes the revision date. It tells you what the revision date will be. Size and performance can affect the cost, but mostly that's affected by the MTBF, or the quality of, that's really the quality of products that you're putting into it. That's mean time before failure. And so that, the higher the quality, the longer the mean time before failure, and so the higher the cost. Okay, if you want to introduce a new product, right, make sure you do it this way, right? Enter a desired name. Needs to have the same first letter as your other products, right? So if you're Andrews, they begin with A, for example. You choose that. You purchase capacity and automation in production page. You've got to buy it 1 year and use it the following year. Okay, again, that's really important. You might do these things, and if you forget to buy the production, then you're going to be goofed up for a year. Okay, so make sure you follow these steps. Marketing, you get to do this. Marketing is kind of a nice what-if one, because you can increase your promo and sales budget, and it'll kind of give you an idea how that's going to affect your sales, right, along with your price. Okay, and so you take a good look at those. Okay, you can also enter the credit policy. You can change your accounts receivable or accounts payable, and that will have an effect on your sales. Actually, the accounts receivable will, anyhow. Okay, this also gives you an ability to put in a budget. The computer will do a forecast for you, and this is where I really like to do a what if. Okay, so when I'm looking at my finance page to see if I have any cash or anything, it might say that I have a positive cash. But what if I go back and lower my forecast, or the computer's forecast, by 10% for each segment? Okay, that might be the goal that I want to look at, make sure I still have cash. Okay, because I might not meet my projections or the computer's forecast. The forecast is just that. Okay, just because the computer tells you that you're going to sell 2,000 low-end items doesn't mean you will. The computer has no idea what your competitors are doing. Okay, but you can then enter in your own forecast, and that will change your sales figures and those types of things that will show up then in your financial page. And so I like to use that a lot, okay, to try to do some what ifs and make sure then that I'm going to have adequate cash. Okay, maybe not too much cash, but adequate cash. Production, you can buy or sell production. Now if you're going to sell it, you need to enter that in as a negative number. Okay, you can also change automation. You have to purchase automation. Okay, you change the automation number, but that costs you money, so and it gives you a running total over there, and then it certainly affects your finance page. Okay, but automation, while it is a cash drain, okay, it in essence doesn't really cost you money, because you're just exchanging one asset for another, cash for equipment. Okay, so on your financial or your balance sheet, it's not going to change that, but it will change your cash flow, definitely. Okay. On the other hand, automation will cut your future costs. So it's one of those investments that you make this year that, if you make it in the first round, for example, that's going to save you money the next 5 to 8 rounds, depending on if it's practice or competitive rounds. So that can be a big deal. Would I invest in automation towards the last round? Probably not. I'm probably not going to get my money back. Would I invest in the first round? Ooh, that the type of return that I could get could be really, really important. Okay. If you want to discontinue a product, right? Okay, if you don't have any inventory, you can just sell all your capacity. If you have excess inventory or any inventory, let's say you have 1,000 units in inventory, make sure you leave one item. Otherwise, the computer will just discount the heck out of your product and get rid of it. Okay, I think they cut the price in half and get rid of it. And so you take a big hit. If you leave 1 unit of capacity, then it sells it like a normal product. Finance. You can borrow money long term. You can borrow money short term. It's much better for you to borrow money than it is to get an emergency loan. Okay, the computer will always kind of make your at least cash zero, but it would do that if you screwed up. It'll do that through an emergency loan, which you don't want, because Uncle Al, he's the emergency lender. He charges huge rates. Okay, so I'd rather borrow money myself on the current debt. Okay, even if I end up with a little excess cash. Okay, that's going to be cheaper than getting that emergency loan. Okay, I can also sell stock. I can sell stock to raise money. Now, every time I sell stock, okay, I increase the number of shares outstanding, which decreases my earnings per share. Remember that. When I sell stock, it decreases my earnings per share. That's going to be important when I show you my score sheet. Okay. When I sell stock, I also increase the equity that I have. I increase the equity that I have. Okay, so selling stock decreases earnings per share. It increases equity, which decreases ROE. Okay, so selling stock is going to decrease earnings per share, and it is going to decrease ROE. Again, keep those in mind, and when you look at my score sheet, remembering those will be kind of a big deal. Okay, you can also retire bonds early or pay them off. Okay, if you want to. If you end up with excess cash, probably won't be a problem early in the game. You can also retire stocks, meaning that you can buy back stock. That's the opposite of selling stock. Okay, so when I buy back stock, I reduce the shares outstanding and increase my earnings per share. When I buy back stock or retire stock, I reduce my equity, increase my return on equity. Again, things to keep in mind. I can issue dividends. Okay, and again, early in the game, might have a kind of a positive impact on my stock price, but that's not a big deal. Okay, I don't score that very highly, but as the game goes on, and hopefully you accumulate a lot of cash and you get a lot of those resources. Okay, then you have a problem, because as you accumulate cash, that's an asset. Okay, and the accounting equation is assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity, meaning that if you get rid of cash, either your liabilities have to go down or your owner's equity. If you do nothing else and you get rid of cash, it reduces the owner's equity. Who wants to reduce their owner's equity? Okay, you might, because ROE is a huge thing. You're providing your shareholders with a good return on equity. That's what they want to see. And so issuing dividends can be a big way to help reduce equity, actually. Additional modules, yeah. I'm going to add TQM, HR, labor negotiations, and advanced marketing. And as those come up, it'll give you some suggestions about how to do things. So, okay, links, mainly just read the student guide, and that's going to help you through some of those. So there are some video demonstrations, okay. I don't think these will take me there. I'll click on them and see, but nope, I'm getting an error. So, okay, hopefully I can show you where those are at otherwise, and I'll hopefully do that in another video. Oops.